guys, it's Keisha Henry with New Beginning Healing Institute. Welcome to today's one-day power tip. Yep, it's no longer one-day power tip, but the one day, and one spelled W-O-N-D-A-Y. Yep. So yep, I've been missing. I missed last week Monday, and I missed the week before that. Yes, it was Thanksgiving, and I was spending time with family. And you probably saw my post. I've been catching up on some knitting, which I've really had a lot of fun doing. And thank you for those of you who liked my new washcloth. I'll start making more. If you saw the yellow yarn that I selected, I think I did show that as well. So I'll be making new dishcloths. So over the next few weeks, you're going to see more of those coming out. How are you guys doing? Oh my gosh. Thank you for supporting New Beginning Healing Institutes. Thank you for supporting the women and supporting this community. The year is winding down and we're still going full throttle. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the inherited constitution. Basically, the inherited constitution is the inner you, and the importance that it has in terms of this greatness that you're designed to be, that you're designed to have, this course that you need to continue to see this happen. And this is a good time for me to pause and say, the inherited constitution, the image that comes to mind is that of a kernel, of what causes the corn to grow. There's a kernel. That's the inherited constitution. We all have this kernel inside of us that needs to be developed. And yes, this is a good time to remind myself and others that, for some of us, that inherited constitution, that kernel, did not have the best environments. Different things happen. We live in a fallen world. If you're a creationist, you understand that living in a fallen world means that things happen over the course of life. And so therefore, sometimes this inherited constitution, this kernel, gets a lot of disruption. However, over time, you get to be responsible still when you're no longer small, if you will, but now you've become an adult. This inherited constitution is still in there, and you still get to do something with that. So yeah, the year is ending, but there are things that are still growing and that can still grow, and that includes you. So here's a good time to remind us about this inherited constitution actually has a host, right? Which is our personality. And what does that look like? Well, let's see. It's our physical, it's our emotional, it's our physical, our cognitive, our emotional, our cultural, and our spiritual. Let me say it again. Our physical, our cognitive, our emotional, our cultural, and our spiritual. And notice how I mentioned that one last. Actually, the literature actually does that, and I like it because the spiritual aspect of our personality is responsible also for this inherited constitution to grow. This greatness that we're talking about. As the year is ending and as you reflect, right? How have these parts been working for you that really impacts the inherited constitution? Your spirituality, I'm going back to that. I did not spend a lot of time this year talking about the spiritual expression or spiritual development. It's a touchy topic, but I tell you what, the more I do this work, I get to realize that people are desiring to learn more and to cultivate their spiritual parts of their personality, because they're recognizing more and more how important this is to the personality and how important it is that they can bring about this proper growth to the inherited constitution. And so, the spirituality piece that I'm talking about today that helps to grow the inherited constitution, in addition to these other parts of your personality, I want to hang my hat here for another maybe 10-15 seconds. So your spiritual expression, your spiritual development happens to be linked to this other piece here, right here. We're talking about the mind, the cognition, the emotions, and the will, the behavior, the motivations to do things. If those parts are not properly connected to the spiritual development, then guess what? This inherited constitution is not going to go anywhere. So as this year winds down, I've learned a lot in this past year, personally and professionally, working with other women, and I'm realizing more and more how this inherited constitution is really dependent upon all parts, but really critically the spiritual development and the expression. When this part is properly developed, it really impacts the rest of the personality. It affects your emotions, it affects your will, it affects your motivation to do things. So of course, the greatness then will definitely be manifested if we can have development, proper development, and proper expression of this, and inclusion of it right? And the rest of our personality, so the inherited constitution can grow as it was designed. So again, as the year is ending, what will you do about your spiritual development? Who do you need to talk to about that? If there's spiritual contamination, who do you need to talk to about that? As you develop your inherited constitution, what else can you do to have your expression to become vivid every day? What can you do to ensure that you're growing this part of your personality so you can be strengthened the rest of your personality so this kernel can grow? Those are my closing thoughts for you on greatness is inside and it's not outside. Because if we can tap into what's inside of us, there will be no limit to what is on the outside. So that's today's one-day power tip. I feel very passionate about that. You probably sense that coming across. But again, as I'm closing, I just want to say I see this showing up more and more in the women and girls that I work with, and it's powerful to see how the inclusion of spirituality in psychotherapy is helping to move persons with significant concern or issues better work through and become better at what it is that they're working with. And of course, this inherited constitution begins to shine much more. It's exciting. Listen, thank you for watching today's one-day power tip. If you missed what I said, play this video again and listen to the questions I asked at the end. Listen, looking forward to speaking to you again as this year winds down, and looking forward to just continue moving forward. Thanks, guys. Bye.